Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. The Nigerian military has stepped up efforts to locate the 110 girls abducted by Boko Haram insurgents after an attack on a Yobe government secondary school in Dapchi. The theater commander of the Northeast Operation on Wednesday disclosed that the Air Force has deployed additional air platform to locate the girls. Major General Rogers Nicholas also revealed that the Air Force has now spent over 200 hours flying in search of the girls as it continues to cover all areas possible. He also disclosed that the military has deployed the services of local fishermen and farmers in search of the girls. The commander was speaking at the inauguration of helipad, office complex and residential quarters for officers and airmen at the newly established 171 Nigerian Air Force Detachment in Monguno town by the National Security Advisor, Major General Babangana Monguno. Meanwhile, the force commander of the Multinational Joint Task Force Against Terrorism, Major General Lucky Irabo, has described the abduction of the schoolgirls as an attempt by Boko Haram to seek relevance. Major General Irabo, who was speaking on the sideline of the ongoing international conference on Lake Chad Basin, also described the abduction as a desperate move by the terrorists to get resources. He assured that the military was well equipped to deal with the threats.
That is the reason why the Multinational Joint Task Force was constituted in the first place, knowing that there is no country that can go it alone, that all the countries must synergize their efforts in ensuring that their common enemy is taken out, and that is Boko Haram as the common enemy. So it is cooperation that is existing amongst these countries that have enabled us to make the impact that we've made so far. So we believe that as we continue on the trajectory that we are pursuing, then of course the problem will be eliminated.
The United Nations has also been reacting to the unfortunate incident. The international body's Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the attack and called for an unconditional release of the abducted girls. The UN chief urged the Nigerian authorities to swiftly bring those responsible for this shameful act to justice. He reiterated the solidarity and support of the UN to the Nigerian government and other affected countries in the region in the fight against terrorism and violent extremism. The 63rd Ordinary Session of Council of Ministers of Lake Chad Basin Commission has agreed on refilling the Lake Chad Basin from the River Congo in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The project, which is to be handled by Chinese construction giant Power China and Italian firm Bonifica, will witness the transfer of 50 billion cubic meters of water per annum from River Congo to replenish the sinking Lake Chad. The project is known as Transaqua. In this hall, the future of over 40 million Africans across 5 countries living on the borders of the shrinking Lake Chad is being decided. Member states are meeting here with representatives of Chinese company and Italian firm, which will undertake project Transaqua. That is channeling water of a distance 2,500 kilometers from Congo River to Lake Chad.
Our flagship project, the recharging of the Lake Chad through interbasin water transfer from the Congo Basin to the Lake Chad, remains the most viable option for saving the Lake Chad from drying. There is no solution to the shrinking of the Lake Chad that does not involve refilling the lake with water from outside the basin. Therefore, interbasin water transfer is not an option, but a necessity. Otherwise, we are faced with the possibility of the Lake Chad disappearing, and that would be catastrophic to the entire continent of Africa.
The Lake Chad Basin Commission believes the shrinking of the lake is largely due to the negative effect of climate change caused by developed countries to the detriment of African continent. This development calls for determination and political will of member countries to take firm decision and save the Lake Chad.
It is now time for the African Union to face the challenges in the Lake Chad Basin as an African strategic problem and factor the saving of Lake Chad as part of the Pan-African Initiative for Peace, security, and infrastructure development of Central Africa, West Africa, and the Sahel. Africa must collectively resolve to tackle these issues head-on with all we have through the strong political will of our leaders.
I urge all of us, the member countries, not to be complacent. Let us continue to build on our progress, as that is the only way to realize our mandate and meet the yearnings of our people. In conclusion, let me express my appreciation to my colleagues from member states for your own efforts in developing the basin, our developing partners for the tremendous work you are doing at the Commission and within the basin, and also our invited guests who have over the years lent their support in various ways.
However, an hydrologist, Francis Ale, wants the Lake Chad Basin Commission to look at other means of refilling the lake instead of channeling through the Congo River, which he believes will be more expensive and technically challenging.
We have other solution that is beyond getting water from the Congo Basin. And I can say to you that the other activities that we have had to do with recharging the basin with the underground water. Because there are a lot of ways you can do the recharge. You can recharge with the third layer of the aquifer, where you have many boreholes drilled along the axis of the basins. It could be 200 boreholes. It's cheaper for you. Drill to a depth of over 1,200 feet or meters. Then you can start tapping into that level of the aquifer. It gives you artesian. And you start discharging back to the basin, and you start filling it back.
Beyond the refilling through the Congo River, the Lake Chad Basin Commission is also looking at other advantages of the project, which include the possible generation of 15,000 to 25,000 kilowatts of hydroelectricity through the mass movement of water by gravity, developing irrigated land for crop and livestock farming, covering 50,000 to 70,000 square kilometers in the Sahel zones of Chad, northeastern Nigeria, northern Cameroon, Niger Republic, and providing new infrastructure platform for industries and water transport. People have been confirmed dead following an attack by herdsmen on 2 farming communities in Adamawa State. Among the dead is the spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party in the state, Sam Zodak. Zodak's death was confirmed by PDP Secretary in the state, Abdullahi Prembi, on Wednesday. According to Prembi, the fight was between Bachama militia and herdsmen in Numan Demza areas. Meanwhile, the military says it has killed 10 of the attackers, while 6 others were also arrested. Still on security matters, the Nigerian army has confirmed 1 soldier was killed in a shootout with suspected kidnappers in Kogi State. 3 of the suspected kidnappers were also killed in the face-off. The army also revealed that others were arrested and are currently assisting with investigations. In a separate incident, 1 federal road safety official was killed during the abduction of 2 civilians in Kaduna State. The abducted civilians are the wife and a child of a reporter with the Voice of America in Kaduna State. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has ordered the final forfeiture of 2 penthouses allegedly linked to the former Minister of Petroleum, Desiani Alison Madueke. The penthouses, valued at $4.760 million, have been forfeited to the federal government. Justice Mojisola Olatoregun specifically ordered on Wednesday that the 2 properties located in Ikoyi, Lagos State, be forfeited to the government. The judge had on December 5, 2017, ordered the temporary forfeiture of the properties after hearing an ex parte application filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the reappointment of Olusegun Awolowo as the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC. This was announced through a statement issued by Femi Adesina, Special Advisor to the President. Adesina said the appointment, according to a letter signed by Boss Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, will last for another 4 years. Awolowo was first appointed to the NEPC position in 2013 by former President Goodluck Jonathan. Senate President Bukola Saraki has called on House of Assemblies to pass a bill suspending payment of pension to former governors and deputy governors. The Senate President gave the advice in a statement congratulating the Kwara State House of Assembly for their passage of a bill stopping pension to former governors and their deputies. Saraki served as Kwara State Governor between 2003 and 2011. Meanwhile, a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Kingsley Moghalu, has officially declared to run for the president of Nigeria in the 2019 election. Moghalu, who announced this on Wednesday in a press conference at the Shehu Musa Yaradua conference in Abuja, said a combination of military rule, oil booms and bust, a successive leadership failure of the political class have robbed the country of what seemed our destiny at independence. Moghalu, who is 54 years old, was born in Lagos State, southwest of Nigeria. He is a political economist, lawyer, and former United Nations official. Moving on to more stories, the Nigerian economy has recorded a positive growth for the third consecutive quarter. According to data from the country's Bureau of Statistics, the economy has grown by 1.92% in the fourth quarter of 2017. This figure is 0.52% higher than the growth recorded in the third quarter of 2017. The year 2017 recorded a real annual growth rate of 0.83%, higher by 242% than minus 158% recorded in 2016. Some financial analysts spoke with TV360 on this.
You can see that the growth is very marginal. And all this points to the fact that there are still quite a lot of challenges in the economy. It also points to the fact that the non-oil sector of the economy is still not doing as well as it should. Because the big component or the main component of this growth is actually from the oil sector. And this is driven mainly by the fact that oil price has rebounded significantly, and oil output has also been stable and also fairly robust. The non-oil sector is still grappling with quite a number of challenges. That is why the growth in the non-oil sector is still far below 1%. So there are still a lot of issues with our manufacturing sector, with our agricultural sector, with our services sector, with our, quite a number of sectors.
2018, we forecast GDP to further improve about between 2.3% and 2.5%, largely hinged on improvements in both the oil sector and non-oil sector GDP. For oil sector, we expect sustained improvements in oil production volumes to remain in positive for the economy. And for the non-oil sector space, we expect sustained growth in the agricultural sector. We anticipate improved activity in manufacturing sector as well, in line with the improvements that we've seen in FX liquidity in the market. And we believe these factors will contribute to the sustained growth in the broader economy.
Corruption not in my country.
Madam, madam, welcome. Okay, madam, no worry. When you deliver the balance, we'll give you the goods.
No problem, no problem. All right, so now well done.
Thank you. Hey,
Oga, I still say she don't bring money. Maybe we'll use this one for him now.
she wants mahogany, not white wood.
Oga, our work now to join wood together, deliver whatever to customer. Put the remaining profit for pocket.
Abba, this is corruption, not in my country. Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Glad to have you back. The Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has sanctioned 3 companies and barred 750,000 numbers found to be connected to coal masking. In a statement signed by Tony Ojobo on Tuesday, the Commission said the sanctioned entities were found to be directly and indirectly involved in several infractions. Coal masking is a technique used to hide numbers when making calls or sending messages. In some cases, international numbers are masked with local numbers which are not charged because the caller's identity is completely hidden on the network. Oil prices fell on Wednesday as weak Chinese and Japanese industrial data triggered concerns of an economic slowdown that could lower oil demand. Brent crude was down 25 cents at $66.38 a barrel, while U.S. crude was down 32 cents at $62.69 a barrel. Traders said oil prices declined on concerns of a slowdown in the global economy after China reported on Wednesday that factory growth in February was at its lowest since July 2016. At least 10 people were killed and 15 others injured in a train crash on Wednesday in Egypt's northern province of Bahira. 2 passenger carriages separated from one train and collided with a cargo train, the official news agency MENA said, citing the provincial security director. Egyptians have long complained that successive governments have failed to enforce basic safety measures for the railways. A string of crashes have further inflamed public anger over the antiquated transport network. Officials who ignored warnings over a dangerous rubbish dump in Mozambique's capital city will be prosecuted following the death of 17 people. The Maputo City Attorney's Office say it is currently investigating the circumstances which led to the collapse of the Hulene rubbish dump. The dump collapsed following heavy rains, leaving more than 150 families homeless, 5 injured and 17, including a 2-year-old child, dead. Prosecutor Cecilia Sambu said they were considering whether the town should be held responsible criminally, civilly, or administratively. On to sports now. Nigeria's Football Federation President Amaju Pinnick on Tuesday inaugurated the Federation's new audit committee and the technical study group at the Secretariat in Abuja. The Federation boss said the technical study group would function as a committee collating analysis and putting at the disposal of the NFF data and ideas that can enhance the rapid growth of football in Nigeria, while the audit committee will complement the efforts of external auditors, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Roger Federer has been crowned Sportsman of the Year at the Laurel Awards in recognition of his return to the top of tennis. Federer won at Wimbledon and the Australian Open in 2017, his first major title since a serious knee injury and surgery which ruled him out for 6 months. The Swiss icon won in Australia again this year, becoming the first man to reach the milestone of 20 Grand Slam single titles and has reclaimed the world #1 spot at the age of 36. The head of Russia's Olympic Committee said on Wednesday that the International Olympic Committee (IOC) had reinstated his organization's membership after suspending it over doping allegations. Russians competed as neutrals in the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics after the IOC suspended Russia in December, saying it had found evidence of an unprecedented systematic manipulation of the anti-doping system. The Olympic athletics of Russia failed 2 drug tests despite having had to prove they were clean before the Games. The IOC has not yet officially announced the news. Well, that's it on News Now. Thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha.